Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, Republican from the state of New York, joins me now. Congresswoman, can these mandates, do you have the authority, as someone in Congress, to turn these mandates around, relax them, or stop them?
Well, certainly Republicans in Congress oppose these unconstitutional mandates. Democrats do have a majority in the House, and they need to feel the pressure from their constituents that they don't support these vaccine mandates. These should be challenged in the courts as well. But certainly when Republicans win back the majority next November, we will oppose these unconstitutional mandates because we're seeing the impact in New York State, whether it's our fire department officials, our firemen, or our first responders.
But it's too late. It's too late.
It is, and it's exacerbating an already bad labor shortage.
It's too late. You can't wait till November of next. Look, I know we've got to wait until November of next year before we can make a political change. But the damage is being done. Significant damage is being done right now. Is there anything you can do to mitigate the damage?
Well, we're going to support challenges in the courts. We also have filed legislation opposing any unconstitutional vaccine mandates. And frankly, New York City residents especially need to stand up and continue to speak out about the negative impact this has on public safety, on response times with our fire departments, and even on public health. There are 2 hospitals in my district, Stuart, that have closed their maternity wards because of the unconstitutional vaccine mandate. So we've introduced legislation. Every Republican is opposed to these vaccine mandates, and we need to make sure that Democrat elected officials feel this pressure because this is an authoritarian policy.
You represent New York State. The New York Post reports that Mayor Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York City, plans to run for governor of New York State. Would you like to comment?
Sure. Mayor de Blasio's failed leadership in New York City speaks for itself, whether it's the skyrocketing crime rates, his attack on police, his efforts to defund the NYPD, or the authoritarian leadership when it comes to these mandates. He is bad for New York. Frankly, he's bad for New York City. I would say he's the worst mayor in America, so it's just laughable.
In the next gubernatorial election in New York State, is there any chance that a Republican candidate like Glenn Youngkin in Virginia could do the same thing in New York against a Democrat candidate? You know, what I'm asking is, what's the trend in voting in New York State now?
Well, absolutely. I believe that we have the greatest opportunity to win back the governor's mansion in Albany. We have great Republican candidates. I want to highlight my colleague Lee Zeldin, who has earned the endorsements from all the Republican county parties across the state. New Yorkers are waking up, and it's not just Republican-registered New Yorkers. It's Democrats and independents. They have seen the failed leadership in the state, whether it's the taxes, whether it's the regulations, or whether it's policies like the vaccine mandate, particularly as there's a Democratic primary when they're running to the far left and embracing socialism. You now have Mayor de Blasio, Tish James, as well as Kathy Hochul. It will be a lurch to the left. Every day New Yorkers need to stand up. And what we see in Virginia is issues matter. The American people are fed up with these far left socialist policies, and I feel good about Virginia tonight. If you're watching, turn out to vote for Glenn Youngkin.
I hear you are not happy about the rising cost of a Thanksgiving dinner. I hear this. Are you doing anything about it?
Yes, we are opposing the massive $1 trillion spending package. This country is facing an inflation crisis because of Joe Biden and House Democrats' failed tax and spend policies. This will be the most expensive Thanksgiving dinner in our nation's history. This is Joe Biden's turkey tax. We're going to make sure every American knows that it's a result of failed Democrat policies and failed leadership from Joe Biden. They are paying more. It's a turkey tax because of inflation.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, we packed a lot in there, and I'm glad we did. Great stuff. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.